It goes by so fast, just like the holiday season went by. I barely even noticed it. I was so busy doing other things. It came and went, and I thought, it's over already? I was walking the other day, and there were Christmas trees on the sidewalk, and I thought, why are these all here? And it's over. And this life goes by like that too. Just goes by. And the Vedanta Sutra says, Atato Brahma Jignasa. Atato means therefore, because you've tried in so many lifetimes to enjoy. You've enjoyed in every species of life. In a bird, you enjoyed flying from one branch to another. You enjoyed preening yourself, your beautiful plumes, and eating all kinds of bugs. And in life of a monkey, you enjoyed swinging from a tree and shaking lampposts and whatever you could get a hold of. Therefore, you've tried in so many lives. You've become a king, and in the life of a king, you ruled over so many people, but still you weren't happy. There was no satisfaction, and it left it all behind. Therefore, now inquire about the ultimate good. Use this life. Don't hesitate. Give this one life fully to Krishna. This is all that's required to have this mood that now, Krishna, I surrender to you. I've given so much time and energy since time immemorial trying to enjoy for myself. Now let me give all this up and simply become your servant. Tomare loite ame huinu abatara. Tomare loite, to reclaim you. Ami, I, Hoinu Avatar, have descended as an incarnation. So Lord Chaitanya has come down to save us. He's come as an avatar. Beyond our purview, he's come into our vision, and he's given us teachings just out of mercy. What happened? Huh? White Hyundai.
No, white color Honda.
Honda, white color Honda. That white bag is for you, Hansapriya. White Honda.
I think
Okay. Ami bina bandhu aro keache tomara. Ami bina, other than myself, bandhu aro, another friend, keache, who is tomara yours. Where is there another friend except for me? Krishna says this in the Bhagavad Gita, that I'm the friend of everyone, the suhrit. And suhrit means, su means very, very good. Hrit, it means heart. So the one who is our best friend, who is very, very good, is there with us all the time in the heart. He's always with us wherever we go, whatever ridiculous situation I put myself in. Ishvara sarvabhutanam hrideshara arjuna tishtati. That brahmayan sarvabhutani yantra rudrani maya. Whatever next situation I go to, being distracted from the service of the Lord, still Krishna is such a good friend, he comes with me. And sometimes in this material world we wonder at different kinds of friends. In fact, there are different names for friends in the Shastra. It's named differently according to their level of friendship. Some kinds of friends are obligatory. Maybe you have a friend at work. You have to be there anyway, so you might as well be friends. Some relatives you have to be friends with because, well, they're your relatives. And other kinds of friends we call fair weather friends. They're friends as long as everything's going okay. And then there are friends that when you win the lottery, they come to see you. And they haven't seen you for 20 years. There's a kind of friendship in the material world we wonder, are they really my friends? People who win the lottery all the time. Everyone starts calling them. And then they become a little neurotic because they think, well, actually nobody's my friend because they're only calling me because I'm rich now. So we have these kinds of feelings in the material world, but Krishna's not like that. Krishna's always our friend, even if I do something embarrassing or ridiculous or offensive. He's still with me wherever I go, always waiting, simply waiting for me to turn my attention back to him and his friendship's always there, available. He's never lazy about his relationship with us. Although I may neglect him, he never neglects us. He's always giving us his attention. And so where is there a better friend than Krishna? And so Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, if we simply remember this, that he's our best friend, we'll have peace. We'll have peace. And we can understand how Krishna is with us at every second, even in this very moment. It's not such a mysterious thing. You can actually discover it for yourself in 1 second. How? By your experiencing your intelligence. Everyone can experience their intelligence. And your intelligence is coming from a superior source. That's Krishna. Sarvasya chaham hridisani vishto mattak smritir jnanam apohanam cha. If you take a moment to experience that, the intelligence that comes to you at every second is being provided to you by a superior source, you'll feel for yourself how Krishna is there. You can actually experience him. And the power to see, you're seeing right now, you look out and you see, it's a miracle actually. We're seeing light reflected back and it comes into our consciousness. But we see only because Krishna first sees, and he gives us the power to see. And everyone's moving by Super Soul's direction. Wherever we go, whatever move we make, when we turn around a corner, we hear someone else coming and we veer to the left so that we don't run into them because we heard the sound. This is all intelligence being given to us by Super Soul. How do you think people make it down the 101 freeway with minimal crashes, even though they're texting as they drive? Because Super Soul's there directing, move your foot like that, okay, turn to the left, here comes the car. And so on and so forth. We don't listen to them sometimes, and there's an accident. But we can experience the form direction of the Super Soul through our intelligence. It's coming to us at every time. And if we're a little quiet and sit and experience how intelligence is coming into our mind, revelation comes into our mind. As you're sitting to write something, it comes in as sentences. Where does it come from? Being provided to you, coming from our superior source, from our friend. So turning our attention to Krishna, realizing Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam Eko Bahunam Yoviditati Kaman. He's providing everything. Every living entity is being fed. He's feeding every living being. Every little spider, every little ant, every little human is getting their food because Krishna's their friend, and he's feeding. He's taking the trouble to feed them all. So if we become conscious of this, he's our friend. And he's a friend because he comes and speaks the truth so that we can become free. The Bhagavad Gita is Krishna's direct words. And the Bhagavad Gita as it is our source of direction back to the spiritual world and our way to live in this world without becoming entangled. And anyone who listens to the message of Bhagavad Gita over and over and simply follows it will become a liberated soul. This is the power of Krishna's words, of his friendship, that he comes. And to save the whole world, he speaks the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. So just by hearing the Bhagavad Gita, one becomes free, one becomes saved, one becomes happy. What is the source of my misery in this material world? I don't follow Bhagavad Gita. What is the source of my confusion in this world? Oh, I already know everything. I don't need Bhagavad Gita. Now I'm working on my own. Take the help of our friend. Who else, he's saying, who else could be your friend but me? I'm giving you all intelligence. I'm giving you the Vedas. I'm giving you the Bhagavad Gita. Just follow me. I'm your friend. So the more we have faith in our friend, Krishna, that he's the Suhrit, he's our ever well-wisher in our heart, and we move our life towards serving him, towards being his friend. And how do we become his friend? It's mentioned in the Nectar of Devotion. We can become Krishna's friend by doing his work. He has work to do in this material world to give people knowledge about him. And if you do that work for him, you become his friend. Become very friendly to Krishna. That's the way to become friendly with Krishna. So also, we follow his instructions ourselves. We surrender our intelligence to his intelligence as he gives it in the Bhagavad Gita, as he's giving it at every second. We can experience through our consciousness how he's there. Ene chi ashodhi maya nashi barolagi. NHE, I have brought Ashaudi, the medicine, Maya, illusion, Nashi Baro Lagi, for destroying. So he's bringing medicine. And this is exciting news. When you're sick, when you're, as soon as you feel some ailment in your body, you want to know what's the medicine, what's the cure. And everyone wants to tell you also. I have a little cold. Oh, I know what to do. My mother used to give me, take some pebbles, shake them up, drop them on your head. Everyone's got some little cure of how to solve everything. But Krishna, when Krishna has the cure, then it really is effective. And this is exciting news, that he's brought specific medicine to cure this ailment of Maya, of being bewildered, moroseness, depression, fear. All these are symptoms of taking shelter of the witch Maya. We have the capability of taking shelter of Krishna when we're in the human body. A crab walking along the coast here in Half Moon Bay. When you walk towards the crab, it sees you, it sees your shadow, and which way does he run? Does he run towards the 101 freeway, or does he start running towards the ocean? He goes to the ocean naturally. He knows, there's my shelter, the Pacific Ocean. Natural. And a bird gets scared, it goes where? Into the tree. It hides in the tree, takes shelter of the tree. So the soul, when it comes to the human form of body, can take shelter of Krishna naturally. It has, just as the crab has a natural inclination to take shelter of the ocean. It's empowered to take shelter of the ocean. So the human being's empowered, special form that we can develop our intelligence to take shelter of Krishna. Samashritaye padapalava palavam mahatpadam punya yasho marare param bhavam burir vatsa padam param padam 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 yad vipadam natesham. It's a dangerous place in the material world. Danger at every step. Just let me say that again. It's not just poetical, it's a fact. There's danger at every step. Or as Satyadev Prabhu said to me on the way home, he said, anyone can walk in and find one of their relatives cold and dead the next morning. There's no exemption. It's danger at every step. We're on the threshold of death at every second here in the material world. And to think that I'm not is simply, I'm living in a fool's paradise. This is illusion. And so in this dangerous situation, when someone brings medicine, when someone brings the medicine to free us from the affliction of Maya, that this is the greatest news, that the real thing has come. Harinam Mahamantra Lao Tumi Magi. Harinam Mahamantra, the great chant for deliverance. The Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Lao, please take it. Tumi, you. Magi, begging. So this word Magi, it gives us an inclination of how we should chant. When we're chanting the Mahamantra, we should beg. We're not too proud to beg. We can call out to the Lord, please give me. You have to become a master asker, because whatever you ask, that's what you get in life. People who ask for great things, they generally get great things. Only problem, my capacity for asking is not very good. The Srila Prabhupada gives the example of this woman who has a very miserly existence. Firewood, she sells a little bit every day. She has to go collect it in the woods. Someone puts it on her head, and then she walks to the marketplace, gets a few paisa, a few pennies only, and she's bemoaning this condition of her life as she's walking along one day through the forest with the wood on her head and not paying attention. She trips on a stone and all the firewood flies to the ground, and now she's stranded, no one to help her. She will not make any money that day, so she goes to her knees and she's praying, God, please help me, please help me. I'm begging you. And finally he appears and said, I will help you. Please, tell me anything you want. She said, please, put these sticks back on my head. And this is the prayer of conditioned soul, thinking that, God, please give me this, please give me that, please help me become more entangled in the material world. But actually, the great chant for deliverance means, please, Krishna, let me become your servant. Let me give up the service of Maya, the insignificant service of this material world, and become your servant. But Krishna is fulfilling everyone's desire since a time immemorial. So if I learn this technique of asking Krishna, please give me pure devotional service. Please let me engage in your service. And I beg, then he'll listen. Did you ever give to a beggar? Anybody? You gave? Why did you give?
Oh, I've given so many different times.
But why did you give, though?
I guess I sympathized. I've been in that position myself.
But they asked you, right?
Yeah.
If they didn't ask, you wouldn't have given.
No.
There's a sign, or they come along and they're pulling on you, and then finally, okay, you give. But when people ask, then, there's a tendency you can give. So ask Krishna, beg, please, let me have this. So this is the formula. Saying you have to beg for it. Don't be too proud to beg. There was some pop song like that, not too proud to beg, right? Marvin Gaye?
I'm not sure.
Somebody.
No,
Don't be too proud to beg.
No, it's not Marvin Gaye.
No.
But it's Motown.
It's okay, it's Motown anyway. Bhakati Vinoda Prabhu Charani Poriya. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Prabhu Charane, at the lotus feet of Lord Gauranga, Poriya, falling down. She Hari Nama Mantra Loilo Magiya. He also received the Mahamantra by begging. So he's saying, I begged for it and I got it. So now you beg. You take it. Beg for this one thing. Go out and ask. Go in and ask. But ask. Ask for Krishna, please give me this Mahamantra. Let me taste this Mahamantra. Let me become a servant of the Mahamantra. And Aimukta Kaleru Pasyamanam. This is what the great souls do. Great souls are engaged in this liberated activity of repeating the Lord's name. They're not servants of Maya. They've given up that because they've received superior service. They've asked for it. And people, they're always looking for better service somewhere. Here in the material world, it used to be that people want to get a government job because then they're set. Or a big corporation. If you work for IBM, then at least I know in Japan and other countries, if you got a corporate job, then you are set for life. Not true anymore. You'll come one day and there'll be some security guard next to your desk and saying, okay, go. This happens all the time. People work for a corporation for 20 years, and one day, without notice, they walk in and there's security guards say, clear out your desk and go. You're finished. No discussion. So this is the nature of Maya. We're always getting pushed out. So we should pray for superior service, the best service that we can get, and that is to serve Krishna. And we've been given some service in the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so we should feel very fortunate and hold on to whatever service we've been given. Don't ever take it for granted. It's not an ordinary thing when we're given service in this Sankirtan movement. And we should beg for more, beg for so much that we have nothing else, no time for anything else. Please, could you do this or that? Some other thing? No, I don't have time. I'm fully engaged in Krishna's service. Then our life becomes perfectly arranged and we're engaged properly. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nashta Praishu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavat Yutama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Could somebody please arrange seats and books for our guests who just walked in? Thank you. And everyone please move up by 7.2 inches. We're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 1, chapter 13. The chapter is Dhritarashtra Quits Home. And the text today is number 28 on page 45. And it's in this special book. Akurnath Prabhu, did Bhaktin Kara contact you to ask you for one of these books?
Oh yeah, she did email me, and I told her that she could just, that I just get it from the database which she has.
Well, let's send her a book.
Okay.
Could we send her one? Pull one out extra. Somebody send to Bhaktin Kara. She's going to print it herself?
I'm always in touch with her.
Oh, all right. Okay.
I'll ask her if she wants to.
Okay, that's good then. Okay, Bhakti Daniel's here. Things are looking up.
4 tops, by the way.
Was the 4 tops? Okay. Good to know. Know our Shastric references. Okay. Does everyone have their book and know where we are? We're on page number 45 in this book, which is a reprint with the permission of the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. Ato dichim disham yatu. Ato dichim disham yatu. Swar Agnata Gatir Bhavan. Swar Agnata Gatir Bhavan. Ito Arvak Prayashaha Kalaha. Itorvak Prayasha Kalaha. Pungsam Guna Vikarshanaha. Pungsam Guna Vikarshanaha. Ato dichim disham nyatu. Swaragyata gatir bhavan. Itorvak prayasha kala. Pungsam guna vikarshanaha. Ato dichim disham yatu. Ato dichim disham jatu. Swar agyata gatir bhavan. Itorvak prayasha kala. Pungsam guna vikarshanaha. Ato dichim disham dhatu. Swaragyata gatir bhavan. Itorvak prayasha kala. Pungsam guna vikarshanaha.
Ato dichim disham yatu.
Ato dichim disham jatu. Swaragyata gatir bhavan. Kala. Pungsam guna vikarshanaha.
Ato dichim disham yatu.
Ato dichim disham jatu. Swaragyata gatir bhavan. Itorvak prayasha kala. Pungsam guna vikarshanaha. Vaishnavis. Ato dichim disham jatu. Swaragyata gatir bhavan. Itorvak prayasha kalaha. Pungsam guna vikarshanaha. Ato dichim disham jatu. Swaragyata gatir bhavan. Itorvak prayasha kalaha. Pumsam guna vikarshanaha. Atodichim disham jatu. Svaragyata gatir bhavan. Itorvakpraya shakala. Pumsam guna vikarshanaha. Ata. Therefore, Udichim, northern side. Disham, direction. Yatu, please go away. Swai, by your relatives. Agnyata, without knowledge. Gatihi, movements. Bhavan, of yourself. Itaha, after this. Arvak, will usher in. Prayashaha, generally. Kalaha, time. Ungsam, of men. Guna, qualities. Vikarshanaha, diminishing. Translation. Please therefore leave for the north immediately without letting your relatives know, for soon that time will approach which will diminish the good qualities of men. Please repeat. Please therefore leave for the north immediately. Please therefore leave for the north immediately. Without letting your relatives know. For soon that time will approach. Which will diminish the good qualities of men. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki. One can compensate for a life of frustration by becoming a dhira, or leaving home for good without communicating with relatives, and Vidura advised his eldest brother to adopt this way without delay, because very quickly the age of Kali was approaching. A conditioned soul is already degraded by the material association, and still in the Kali Yuga the good qualities of a man will deteriorate to the lowest standard. He was advised to leave home before Kali Yuga approached, because the atmosphere, which was created by Vidura, his valuable instructions on the facts of life, would fade away due to the influence of the age which was fast approaching. To become Narottam, or a first-class human being, depending completely on the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, is not possible for any ordinary man. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.28 that a person who is completely relieved of all taints of sinful acts can alone depend on the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. Dhritarashtra was advised by Vidura at least to become a dhira in the beginning, if it were impossible for him to become a sannyasi or a narottam. Persistently endeavoring on the line of self-realization helps a person to rise to the conditions of a narottam from the stage of a dhira. I repeat, persistently. We're going to need dictionaries in here, I guarantee you. Persistently endeavoring on the line of self-realization helps a person to rise to the conditions of a narottama from the stage of a dhira. The dhira stage is attained after prolonged practice of the yoga system, but by the grace of Vidura, one can attain the stage immediately simply by willing to adopt the means of the dhira stage, which is the preparatory stage for sannyas. The sannyas stage is the preparatory stage of Paramahansa, or the first grade devotee of the Lord. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Dena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katahmayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namaum Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prachardine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namaum Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Sri Varshabhana Videvi Daitaya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayane Pravave Namaha Madhuryo Jwalapare Madhya Sri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Sri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Virudhapa Siddhanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambode Padambujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sakchirananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virbhava Bhomestvam Nirdesa Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhoma Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Katitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tvishe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktalpa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Surato Pangor Mama Manda Matirgati Matsarva Swapadambo Jo Radha Madana Mohano Divya Vrindaranya Kalpa Drumadha Srimad Ratnangara Singhasanasto Srimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo Preshtali Bi Sevya Manus Marami Srimandra Sarasarambi Vamshivata Tatastita Karshan Venusvaner Gopir Gopinata Shriyestu Naha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vrindai Tulsi Devyai Priyayai Keshavasya Cha Vishnu Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Namo Namaha Sri Nishinga Jai Nishinga Jai Jai Nanashinha Prahlada Desha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Bringa Matsamo Nasti Papatma Naparadi Chakashana Parihari Pilajame Kimbruve Purushottama Yuvatinam Yata Yuni Yunam Cha Yuvatau Yata Mano Birabate Tadvan Mano Me Ramatam Twayi Bhumau Skalita Paranam Bhume Eva Balambanam Twayi Jata Paranam Twamivaya Sharanam Prabhu Govinda Balabe Radhe Prate Sansada Twadiyamiti Jana Tu Govindo Mam Twayasaha Radhe Vrindavanari She Karunamrita Vahani Kripaya Nija Padabja Dasyamayam Pradiyatam Brajastrinam Padurenam Abhikshnasha Tasam Harigato Gitam Punati Bhuvanatrayam Namashreshtam Manamapi Shachiputra Matra Sarupam Rupam tasya gajamaruparim maturim goshtavatim Radha kundam girivaramoho radhika madhavasham prapto yasya pratita kripaya Shri Gurum tam natosmi Adadhana Sridam Dante Idam Jache Puna Puna Shriman Drupa Padamboja Shod Sam Bave Bave Hantaya Madhura Bala Haridasya Varyo Yadrama Krishna Charana Sparasha Pramodaha Manam Tanoti Sahago Ganayostayo Yat Padya Suyavasa Kandana Kanna Mulai Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam dinashaya chaduskritam dharma samstapanartaya sambhavam yuge yuge manmana bhava madbhakto madhyajimam namaskuru Mami Vaishyasi Yuktvaevam Atmanam Apparayanaha Sarvadharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Antang Sarva Papebhyo Mukshayishami Machitaha Srinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyantaksto Hyapadrani Vidunoti Suritsatam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Ato Dichim Disham Jatu Swar Agyatagatir Bhavan Iturvak Prayasha Kala Pungsam Guna Vikarshanaha. Vidura is saying to Dhritarashtra, please therefore leave for the north immediately without letting your relatives know, for soon that time will approach which will diminish the good qualities of men. So there's an urgency. This urgency is felt by all those who are advancing on the path of devotional service. It's also a symptom which is named and mentioned by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami as a sign of advancement, anartha kalatvam, which means that one is not will not waste even a second. It has a feeling of this urgency in devotional service. And those who have it themselves, they can convey such urgency to others. For instance, if your house is burning down and some fire is started in your kitchen and you don't have a fire extinguisher, you need help, and maybe you're living in a foreign country and you don't speak the local language. They speak Swahili and you speak only English. Even though you don't speak Swahili, you'll be able to communicate to your neighbors that you need help, that the kitchen is burning, please come. You'll flap your arms, you'll jump up and down, you'll make a fire sign, you'll do whatever you have to do because of the urgency to communicate that you need help. And people will understand in a second that you do need help. And those in spiritual life who understand the urgency, they see that this place is burning. My body is burning. Every cell is burning out. And I have only a limited time. I'm on the threshold of death. At any time I could leave. And others are in that situation too. They can express such urgency to others because they're experiencing it themselves. One sees it in their demeanor and in their activities. They're not wasting seconds. They're not wasting days, what to speak of. They're not wasting minutes or seconds either. And this is the mood of Vidura in expressing to Dhritarashtra the urgency of coming out of his situation. Now he's saying that Kali Yuga is coming. So in the material world there's a law which is called the law of diminishing intent. This law means that the longer I wait, if I feel some intention, the longer I wait to take that up and actually fulfill that intention, the more it can diminish because of the power of time. I thought of writing a thank you note. In the moment, someone gave me a gift, and I thought, I will write a thank you note. But then I got busy, and the next day I thought, I still want to do it, but I'll do it in a second. And then 2 more days go by, and then a week goes by, and then a month, and he goes, meh, it's not such a big deal. They know that I... The law of diminishing intentions is there in the material world because of the enervating effect of the material world. As I have intentions, I have money, I have strength, everything gets enervated. It's being, the life is being pulled out of it gradually as I walk through this world. Therefore, sadhus are particularly urgent in their plea to take the devotional service now. Don't wait for another time. And especially favorable time, take it. I was telling the devotees yesterday, the brahmacharis from San Diego or in San Francisco, so I went there and we had some Bhagavatam class there before they went on Sankirtan. And I was telling them that one day when I was distributing books in the Haight-Ashbury, I met 2 young men who, they were high. They were intoxicated, probably on some marijuana or something. And so I showed them a book, and I explained to them what it would do for them, the importance, and they were impressed, especially by the pictures. And then I told them that it would be good for them if they gave something in return, because by giving a donation for spiritual knowledge, it connects a circle, and it gives you some power to read the book and appreciate it. It gives you some qualification for it. And they thought that was a good idea also, but they figured that they'd wait. And after they did some of their shopping and things like that, then they'd come back. I think they had sincere intention, but they did want to wait. And I said, that's fine with me, only I want to tell you one story before you go. And they said, okay. And as I began to tell the story, they put down their bags and they listened very carefully. And I said, one day, a bee flew into the forest and landed in a lotus garden. And in that garden, he found a beautiful lotus flower, the most beautiful of all the lotus flowers. The scent attracted him, and he landed on that flower and was reveling and relishing the scent of the flower. And he stayed there all day until evening was approaching. And just then a sage was walking through the forest and saw the bee and saw that the night was coming. And he said, "Bee, you must get out now because the flower will close and you'll be stuck in there all night and you don't know what will happen." And the bee said, "Oh, tomorrow is another day. I can wait until then." And the sage said, "Beware, beware. Get out now while you can. Do it now." And walked off. And the bee thought, good advice, but not important for me right now. He stayed in the flower and it closed, and still he was enjoying the scent and the comfort of the flower. And that night, a maddened elephant came through the forest, and as he approached the lotus garden, he scooped up that flower and put it in his mouth and ate it, and the bee perished in the jaws of the big elephant. And as I told the story, I saw their eyes get wider and wider, and then they said, "Okay, we'll give a donation now." So from that day, whenever someone says, "I'll be right back," I say, "That's fine with me, but I just want to tell you one story before we go." So Vidura was also warning Dhritarashtra that you shouldn't wait. You shouldn't wait for spiritual life, and especially when Kali Yuga is coming, when you know there's some a favorable circumstances will diminish and there's an unfavorable circumstance coming, that you should take it now while you have the opportunity. So, Srila Prabhupada is giving these various terms. Narottama, first-class human being who depends completely on Lord Krishna, and he says that this stage of life comes when one has become freed from all sinful reactions. Yesham twantakatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvandva mohanir mukta bhajanti mam dritavrita. This is quoting from 728 in the Bhagavad Gita. Yesham tuanta gatam papam jananam punyakarmanam. That a person who is dritavrita, they become purified of all their sinful reactions. They become fully determined. And they've gained this sukriti, this kind of bhakti unmukhi sukriti, this power to be able to do bhakti because of their association and their practice in devotional service. And they've gone through the work. It's very important here that Prabhupada says, persistently endeavoring in the line of self-realization helps a person to rise to the conditions of narottama. Persistently endeavoring. May we hear the definition of the word persistent, please? Who's got the dictionary? The hot hand. Yes, over here. You're hired, by the way.
Persistent. Adjective.
Oh, please give him the microphone.
Persistent. Adjective. 1. Continuing as with a task, especially in spite of obstacles.
Okay. Continuing with a task, especially in spite of obstacles. Continuing with a task, especially in spite of obstacles. Continuing with the task, especially in spite of obstacles. What does persist mean? One more time. One more time. Okay, next.
2. Lasting or enduring tenaciously.
Lasting or enduring tenaciously. We'll have to hear what tenacious means also. But the word ten, it has to do something with connection, like you have tendons, and tendons, stick to your bones. They don't let go, hopefully. Okay, tenacious.
Do you want tenacious or the rest of it?
Let's hear the rest of it and we'll go back to tenacious.
Constantly repeated, continued.
Constantly repeated, continued. This is also a word in Sanskrit where we say, pardon me? No, I'm thinking of the word, here, may I have a Gita? Someone grab me a Gita. Abhyas. I'm sorry, I got it. Abhyas. Abhyas means to do something repeatedly over and over again. You have to practice it repeatedly until it becomes second nature habit. Second nature habit. Abhyas. Okay, next.
Lasting or permanent as a physical trait.
Lasting or permanent as a physical trait.
Lasting or permanent as a physical trait.
Yeah, and that's the result of constant practice throughout one's life. Yes? Anything else?
Remaining attached beyond the usual time as flowers or leaves.
Remaining attached beyond the usual time as flowers or leaves. But I like that anyway, as remaining attached beyond the usual time, as in, those who excel in any kind of discipline. There was a famous athlete here in the Bay Area named Jerry Rice, and it became known that he became world famous as a football player here. But there was he was famous for his work ethic. He would work out so much that it was called the Jerry Rice workout. Beyond when everyone else stopped practicing, he would practice more. He would do double what everyone else did. He would arrive early. He would stay late. And because of that, he became a great champion. And this also applies staying past the time when you need to. Okay, I'm done. There's 16. That's fine. I'm finished. No, this constant practice, staying with the practice. Yeah.
And then tenacious, adjective.
Where does persist come from? Okay, tell us tenacious, and then we'll go back.
Okay, tenacious. This isn't the best definition, I think, but it says holding fast or highly retentive.
Holding fast or highly retentive. That's what I thought, holding fast, because ten means to hold together, right? Okay, and where does it come from? Does it say?
Tenacious, it says it's from 1600, tenacy. doesn't really give you the best etymology of the word. And then persistent is from Latin persistere.
Which means?
It doesn't say. I'll have to find a better definition.
Yeah, check your app thing and see if we can get a good, better. Yes.
Prabhuji, I was also thinking about tenacious. Is that I learned that in material science as a property not to break. For example, when you draw a metal out into a wire, the wire should be strong enough that it doesn't break. So not all metals are tenacious to the same degree.
Really? You studied the science of metals?
Science of
What was that? What was your major?
as part of engineering.
Engineering.
Yeah.
Just see. We have so much talent here. Bhaktavatsal's got something, and he came all the way from the kitchen. Thick. Tenacity means?
Tenacy in Latin is thick.
It means thick. Tenacity. And thank you very much. We have Latin experts in the back. Our cooks are Latin experts here at ISV. Wow. Okay, so this verse that Srila Prabhupada gives is a very inspiring verse. Yesham tvantakatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva mohanir mukta bhajantimam dhridavrta. Means bhajantimam dhridavrta. Dhrida means that one becomes determined and in the vrat of devotional service after tenaciously practicing devotional service, acquiring all the devotional skills and becoming purged of all kinds of material desires. And that requires courage. It requires courage to give up the weakness of heart that comes as a natural result of being born in this material world, this weakness of heart to enjoy matter, to be attracted to the external world. The senses all have their pullings on us due to our past samskars. Because of previous impressions, I'm pulled in different directions. And to discriminate between matter and spirit, to become callous to the desires that are pulling me in various directions, and to redirect myself using my own volition, please look up the word volition, to use my own volition in order to redirect my senses towards Krishna service, using my eyes to see the deity and to see things in relationship to Krishna, to use my tongue for speaking about Krishna and tasting only Krishna prasadam. This requires practice, and it requires courage to overcome the sentiments of the material world and to overcome the false ego. Krishna says, Nirmana moha jita sangha dosha adyatma nitya vrinavritta kama. That you have to give nirmana moha, this illusory idea that I'm this body. There's a way in which we have to die to live. The only reason I'm afraid of death is because I have to move on and give up all my stuff. Well, it's not my stuff. And if I renounce it before I give up this body, it's not a big deal. Because the only reason I'm afraid is because I've falsely attached myself to my body, to my relatives, to all my things, and I think these are mine. And therefore I'm worried about them. I check all the time to see if they're still there. And the idea that they won't be there tomorrow, it scares me. What'll I do then? Well, you'll depend on Krishna. And this is the Narottama comes to this position of simply depending on Krishna. And Dhridavrta becomes fixed in determined devotional service. It can't be broken under any circumstances. Tenacious. It's thick. The devotional service is thick. It's tenacious. And this is the meaning of someone who's become advanced in devotional service. It's through their persistence, their persistent practice, through all kinds of circumstances, facing obstacles and using volition. Microphone.
An act of making a choice or decision.
Volition, an act of making a choice or decision. Say volition, an act of making a choice or decision. We're getting a poem going here. Volition, an act of making a choice or decision. Next.
2, the power of choosing or determining.
Oh, 2, the power of choosing or determining. Listen to this verbiage. The power of choosing. This is coming out in a new book. This is the new book called The Power of Choosing. The power of choosing. This is what the human experience is all about. You have the power of choosing. And you have to touch Chadadhana Munayo Jnana Vairagya Yuktaya Pashyantyatmani Chatmanam Bhaktya Shruta Grahitaya. One has to become fortified through hearing the Shastra, determinedly following the orders of the spiritual master, and determinedly giving up certain attachments as one goes forward. Someone who does that actually does that work. Becomes thick in their devotional service. They've persisted using volition. Anything more?
The etymology is the Latin volatio, and the stem is vel, which is to will or to wish, and itio, which is position.
The will or wish, where you position your will, where you direct your will. Very nice. So we have that power. So this is a progressive path, moving from dhira, and then sannyas, and then narottama, coming to the perfect stage. The dhira stage is attained after prolonged practice of the yoga system, but by the grace of Vidura, one can attain the stage immediately simply by willing to adopt the means of the dhira stage. Now, Dhritarashtra was a late starter, and therefore he didn't get to the narottam stage. But he did attain the stage of dhira, which means technically to be undisturbed when being separated from family and all the other things that go with it. And that was possible because of the association and preaching of Vidura. And some people become devotees because of the strong preaching of others. They meet someone and the devotee speaks to them very directly and says, no, you should do this now. And then they listen and they become devotees. And this is the power of association. By association with someone, a soul can actually move into the process of devotional service. And we are tatasta jivas. That means really what it means is we're affected by our association. Whatever we associate with, we begin to identify with and take on those qualities. And when I associate with the 3 gunas, then I attain all kinds of good and bad destinations in the material world. And when I associate with those who are beyond the gunas, the narottamas, the pure devotees, then I attain a transcendent destination. Therefore, when Lord Chaitanya was asked, what is a devotee? He said, a devotee is someone who avoids bad association. Yeah. Just by giving up bad asat sanga tyag. He said, what's a devotee? Asat sanga tyag means to give up. So he said, someone who gives up false association. And that's also in the verse, Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vrinivrita kama. He gives up the false association in the material world. Those who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. Reflections, questions, or comments? Yes, Varsha. No, there are different stages being mentioned here, and the narottam is the Paramahamsa, or the topmost stage, when one has gone through different levels of advancement. And there's progressive march. The Vedic process is never impractical, but it realizes that there are graduation stages for everyone. First of all, Krishna says, Swe swe adhikarya nishta saguna parikirtita. That whatever your position is now, you should act accordingly. Don't try to do more. Don't do less either. And if you do that, then you'll gradually advance. It's a good quality to do what you can where you are. So there's a prescribed method for everyone in every situation in life. And even for those who are going towards sannyas, there are 4 stages of sannyas, which starts with kudichak. The man, this is traditional Vedic sannyas, doesn't just walk away from home suddenly, but actually moves to a more remote location near in the same village, but near where the family lives, and they still bring him food. They feed him every day. But he lives separately. And then after that, he gives up accepting food, and he goes to the field and collects whatever grains are left over after the threshing is taking place, and he just takes that grain, and that's what he eats. And then he starts, then after a while, he wanders around the Parvajakacharya stage. He'll just wander around the world and depend on Krishna wherever he goes. And then comes the Paramahamsa stage, where he becomes completely perfected and detached from the world and attached to Krishna. Narotam. Akurnath Prabhu?
What's the significance of going to the north? I noticed not just with Dhritarashtra, but at several different places in the Bhagavatam, people, I guess they went to the Himalayas or something like that, the people renounced their kingdoms and went to the north. And I was wondering why the north, as opposed to, I mean, like Dhritarashtra was in Hastinapur, he could have gone to Vrindavan, would have been south for him, so I was just wondering why the north.
I don't know. I have to look it up, see more about it. Yes?
I heard, I don't have a reference, but North generally refers to the Himalayas. And also from the astrology perspective, south is not so auspicious and north is called auspicious, where the demigods reside. East and north. Go to the east for knowledge, go to the north for renunciation, and go to the south for devastation.
South for devastation. Okay, so everyone stay at ISV. Don't go to Southern California. Yeah.
Krishna Prabhu. But you quoted that word Swaya Adhikari, so how we can know some devotees, they might have completed their most of the part in last life, the devotional service. So now suppose they are, and in what level they are starting, and so how to define your limit?
How to define your limit?
How to define you should do according to your own, in whatever stage of life you are there, you should perform.
How to define what to do, what level to act on.
Yeah, because
you have to have spiritual guidance. Because those who have been through the different stages themselves and have persisted and understand what it looks like to go through those stages, and it also has to do with people who have been at different ages and practiced devotional service and such. They have experience, and they can tell you, they can guide you properly and see where you are. So you should take superior guidance from those who are more advanced in devotional service, and ask them. You should have a spiritual master, spiritual guide who can say, engage like this at this particular time in your life and you'll be successful. And this is what you're qualified for. That's always best. You wanted to finish your point?
I have another question.
Okay. All right. Well, he had his hand up first, so we'll come back to you.
Hare Krishna. Yes, you said the preaching, when we make direct, sometimes people will listen and sometimes they offended. I was distributing in Vietnamese shopping mall, and one guy is smoking cigarette. I went to him and I started preaching. I said, "This is not good. You are smoking," and he didn't offend Prabhu. He took book, and this is a solution for you for stop the smoking.
So you told him to stop smoking?
Yeah.
And he listened to you?
Yeah. And he throwed...
You were there?
No, it doesn't applicable all the time, right, Prabhuji? How can we judge? And then I told Dikshit Prabhu, this is a Asian mentality. If you tell directly, they will listen. And
if you what?
Asian mentality,
Asian.
Asians.
Well, how can you tell us? You have to become expert, and you have a feeling, a radar for where people are. It's like people are good with pets, with animals. They have a sense. When they talk to horses, they know exactly what the horse, when horse whisperers, they call them. The horse whisperers, they can actually tame horses. When nobody else can, they'll bring in a horse whisperer who knows how to communicate with horses. Horses communicate to humans actually, or at least humans can see what their state of mind is by watching their how they move their feet, their tails, their head, and so on. And I've seen this before in documentary of a man who's a famous horse whisperer, and nobody can, the horse has gone crazy, and then they bring the horse whisperer, and the horse walks right up to him. I've seen it with cows also. In Vrindavan, a Sikh Krishna who grew up around cows, he's at the Govardhan ashram, he's the temple president there. You know, our cow, Karuna Sindhu, she's a little wild. You know, people come, they'll try to pet her or give her something, she'll like swing her head and like, why are you doing this? But a Sikh Krishna just walks right up, stands right next to her, and knows just where to touch her on the leg, and you know, he's fearless, and she's completely calm around him. So my point is that you have to develop a sense. You can actually see where people are, how they're reacting. Actually, I wrote something down yesterday about that, just thinking about it, because in preaching to people and distributing books, oh yeah, how do you get a shy animal to come to you? You have to be calm and friendly. If a shy animal like comes, you know, around, like in my yard sometimes cats come through. They just think it's a nice place to hang out. It is, you know, it's a nice garden and there's water and everything like that. So they just come hang out. So some of them are very friendly and other ones are very shy. You know, so I have to get to talk to them or get to know them. I just come over. I have to be calm and friendly. It's like, that's okay. It's all right. You all right? Yeah, come here. You know, and after a while they'll warm up and they'll come close. So we have to be calm and friendly when we meet people, and we also have to develop a sense for what people are feeling and how much they can handle. And it's an empowerment, you know, to be able to do that, to see where people are at and not just charge in and do this or that, become very sensitive. It comes to a lot of it from experience, knowing different kinds of people.
He's very innocent, Prabhu. He said, I'm conditioned from 30 years.
He said, I'm conditioned from 30 years,
so,
yeah.
So it's all practice, abhyasa, if you do then.
Yeah, abhyas. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I want to just say about Krishna Purushottam Prabhu. One day I observed, because you said now it's urgent. So one day, one guy was running. It's urgent. And Prabhuji was with the book. It's also urgent. So
It's also what?
It's also urgent. Please take this book. It's also urgent for you.
Urgent. He said it was urgent?
Yeah.
I see.
That was very inspiring for me. It happened in Vietnamese, so...
And he took the book?
Yeah.
Because he could tell the urgency? Yeah.
He took the book immediately, and then, what do you want now? I want a donation. So he got it. And then I was contemplating on this Putana pastime, and I had something like, I want to check with you. Say, why did Krishna close his eyes? Like many times we hear that Krishna actually opens eyes when we do something for him, and then closes his eyes when we do something wrong, because he's a loving father who always opens his eyes, just like Jagannath opens his eyes wide when we try to offer something to him, and he closes his eyes. Can we apply the same thing to Putana? Because Putana is like very dear, was a sister to Bali Maharaj, and is also very dear to Krishna. And
you could apply several meanings to Krishna's closing his eyes, and I'll tell you what they are. Here are the three things you can interpret from that. Krishna showed the nature of a small baby and closed his eyes as if to avoid the face of Putana. That you could take. This closing of the eyes is interpreted and studied in different ways by different devotees. Some say that he closed his eyes because he did not like to see the face of Putana, who had killed so many children and who now had come to kill him. Others say that he was being something extraordinarily was being dictated to her, and in order to give her assurance, Krishna closed his eyes so that she would not be frightened. That's how nice Krishna is. And yet others interpret in this way, Krishna appeared to kill the demons and give protection to the devotees, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Paritranaya sadhunam. The first demon was to be a woman, and therefore he didn't want to watch, because it was the killing of a woman. So you can take those three interpretations. You had, and then Manish. Trisha.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. You said during the class that it's very easy to remember Krishna when things are bad, and when things are good, then how do we always be in Krishna's remembrance, even when like things are very good and life is very good? Like how to always pray, like with sincerity and always being connected, because I've seen that generally very easy to connect when things are not going in the way we want, but when the things are in the way we want, how to still be in that strong connection.
You have to realize the truth, and that is that you're helpless. You should meditate on it and understand that you're a kinchan, that you don't actually have anything. And you can become aware of that if you're a little analytical and see for yourself. As an example, just as an exercise, before you sit down to chant your japa, take a minute and just analyze how you're breathing. And feel your breath for a minute and realize that without it you're helpless. And then realize that it's not automatic. Your lungs can freeze at any time. Your hands can freeze. Anything can happen. And you can actually feel that you're helpless. And you should feel like that. I mean, you can't, your intelligence can go away. You can lose everything in a second. Sit and feel yourself to be fully dependent on Krishna, and that anything that you have, any asset that you have, has come from Him. Cultivate that. Meditate on it. Janmaishvarya Shruta Shribir Edamanamada Puman Naivarhat Yadidatum Vai Twam Akinchana Gocharam. And Kunti says that if I'm intoxicated by my birth, that I'm qualified for something. I have wealth, I have beauty, I have fame, something. This kind of feeling that I'm qualified, this is poison for the devotees chanting. Kinchan means something, and akinchan means nothing. I don't have anything. And so a kinchana gochara is a person who's qualified to actually chant purely. So you can cultivate that. And realize that at any time, whatever gifts I have from Krishna can be taken away. And then chant with that mood and beg and cry out to Krishna for his help and assistance. It's true. So it's not a stretch. It's not something artificial that you're trying to impose on your mind. Rather, your mind is imposing something artificial on you now, saying that you're okay. It's an illusion. Even Helen Keller, the famous author and philosopher who was deaf, dumb, and blind from her birth, but achieved extraordinary literary success in her life due to her teacher. Have you ever seen the life of Helen Keller? Anyone? You know? You read the story of Helen Keller. Anyway, she wrote once that any feeling of security that one has in this world is complete illusion. This idea that I have something, you know. So we should cultivate that. It's true. And that doesn't mean that we become insecure, but it means that we actually become secure realizing where our real shelter is. Maya means that which is not. And I'm taking shelter of the fallible soldiers. Deha patra kalatradeshu atmasaini susatsapi tesham pramato nidhanam pashanapina pashyati. This is, Shukadeva Goswami says that I take shelter of the fallible soldiers, starting with the body. So I think my body will protect me. If I'm very healthy, Prabhupada used to say, the man runs on the beach to get healthy because he thinks the body will protect me and save me because I'm so healthy. And you can see that someone can develop this kind of attitude that I'm in such good shape, I only eat grape juice, you know. I only eat raw stuff and I'm strong, and then so you start getting faith in the body that I'm okay, but you can eat a bad grape and die. The deha, apatra, and then I get surrounded by the byproducts of the body. I have wife, and then I have children, and then I get this whole kingdom and dynasty around me, and I think my children will save me, everyone will save me, but Shukadeva Goswami says, these are soldiers, but they're fallible. Don't depend on them. Don't put your dependence on them. And then he says, Pashanapina Pashyati, says everyone sees it, but they don't see it. They see all the time that these things can't protect you, but still they keep going back to that kind of a bad shelter. And this is conditioned life. Because one has to become unconditioned and conditioned to depend on Krishna. That's real intelligence. So practice it. Cultivate it. See for yourself how this world is dangerous and treacherous. And don't take shelter of the fallible soldiers. That's real intelligence. You can develop it. Varsha.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. You just now said meditate on Mahamantra. Prabhuji, when we have japa mala in our hand and we are chanting, our concentration sometimes goes on the beat when we are doing it. It becomes practice. Automatically your thumb turns the beat and it goes ahead. Fine. But when we meditate, and if I'm totally silent and meditating, that gives much more, feel much more presence in the lotus feet of Krishna. Is that true? And one question. Second is, like, you see, when we are breathing in, we should meditate the whole mantra, and we are breathing out. That time also we should say the whole mantra. Is there some rule of this kind or no?
Well, as far as silent meditation, one can think of Krishna after having heard and chanted about Krishna, especially. And it comes Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Whatever we hear and chant about, naturally we'll think about. Prabhu gave an example that in his business life, he knew a merchant who sold cloth, and all day long he was quoting prices. And then he'd see when that merchant would take a nap, he'd go on quoting prices in his sleep. And it becomes a natural for the senses and the mind to go on with the momentum of whatever you're hearing and chanting about. And there's more than that. Krishna becomes attracted to your hearing and chanting and makes his way into your mind. I mean, Bhagavatam says that when you're hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna actually becomes attracted to the sound vibration himself and becomes present in your heart. He's already present there, becomes prominently situated there. So our remembrance of Krishna is dependent on our hearing and chanting. And when we're chanting japa, it's best or it's most recommended to listen to the sound of the mantra, to the syllables. These syllables are described as the supreme combination of syllables. It's incomprehensible practically, but Krishna has incarnated himself in the form of these 32 syllables. And if you meditate on them, then it's as good as meditating on Krishna. And you should meditate on the syllables and the mantra with a feeling of selfless love. That you're calling out to Krishna to engage in selfless love. And if you're chanting in that way, then and keep bringing your attention back to that mantra, this is the best kind of meditation. And as far as breathing goes, you have to find, there's a mechanical part to chanting, which is that, of course, the body's a machine and it's got all its components. So you have to practice. And with the breathing, you have to find what's practical for you at the speed that you chant at so that you can hear the mantra. And if it becomes inconvenient to chant just on the exhale or on the inhale, then you'll have to adjust that. But there's no hard and fast rule as far as chanting japa that you have to chant the whole half the mantra, hold the mantra on your exhale. But if it helps you to hear the mantra and you can use the breath in that way, then that's a good thing, whatever's favorable. But there's 3 P's which are mentioned for japa, the 3 P's: posture, pronunciation, and prayer. These things are very helpful to remember when chanting japa. If you sit up straight and you keep a straight spine when you chant, then there's a tendency to be more concentrated. And pronunciation, be aware of what you're saying. And one of the best ways to do that is to chant some japa into a tape recorder and then play it back. I tried it on my iPhone the other day just to send a message to somebody. I was saying, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And I realized that my speech box is not entirely digital, because when it's heard by a digital machine, it interprets it in many different ways. It got a few of the Hare Krishnas, but my pronunciation is obviously a little different. But if you listen to your own pronunciation, you'll become very aware of what you're doing. And it's possible over years to be chanting and not be aware at all of how you're pronouncing the mantra. And, you know, we've heard, Prabhupada mentions it in his books about Gayatri Mantra and also about the japa, how he's heard devotees chanting, you know, Shnish Shnish Ram Ram or whatever it is, without being conscious of actually saying the syllables. So you should concentrate on pronunciation, because that work of hearing how you're pronouncing it will help you to concentrate more on the name. And prayer, that's the third P. While you're chanting, be conscious that you're praying to Krishna. It's not just an exercise to finish whatever round you're on, but it's actually a conscious prayer. If you can come into that zone of praying, and as I mentioned to Trisha Prabhu, that if you begin, fix your sankalpa, your purpose in chanting, before you begin chanting, and make a prayer to Krishna that, let me be fully dependent on you, realize my dependence, I'm your servant, please let me humbly approach you, ask for some benediction, that, like, please let me, give me one Vaishnav quality, something, and beg, and chant like that. If you start off like that on the right foot, and you practice chanting, then you'll have breakthroughs. You're looking for breakthroughs. You might not chant 16 rounds in complete ecstasy, but if you can get one mustard seed of inspiration out of your 16 rounds every day, that means 1 second, tiny influence from the holy name that you hear because you're trying very hard to concentrate, that's enough to sustain your practice for a whole day, for a whole year, for a whole month, for a whole lifetime. And it's enough inspiration to flood the whole city of San Jose, or maybe the whole Bay Area, or maybe the whole country. Just that one mustard seed. So try to get that. That's what we should try for every day in our chanting. It's all there in the holy name, and we just have to catch it. Only problem is the mind is blocking everything, here, there, and everywhere, blocking the influence coming in, because it's like having somebody next to you, say if you're going on a long trip and you're driving and they just won't shut up. They just won't stop talking. Blah, 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 blah. What about this? You know, and they don't even breathe in between. That's the way the mind is. So it's hard to hear anything. So we have to practice going, you know, shutting out those voices and hear the holy name, because it's all there in the holy name. Just by hearing it, we become inspired. And Krishna does everything, actually. We just have to be open to it. The sun gives all kinds of nourishment, vitamin D and other types of benefits, but if I go in my house and I close the blinds and the doors and everything like that, I don't get any benefit from the sun. So the sun, Krishna, the holy name is like the sun, so I have to, when I start chanting, open the blinds, let the light in. That's the main thing. Let it come in and let it shine on me. Akurna Prabhu is leaving. Haribo! Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande Haribo. So now we'll have a Guru Puja ceremony, and just after that there will be sumptuous Krishna Prasadam for everybody. And I have to go because we now have our Bhakti Life program nearby, where we're talking to some of the newer devotees who have just joined us. Apparently there's about 12 or 15 people coming today. It's the beginning of the year, so lots of new people. And I thank everybody very much. I'll see you all on tomorrow, Sunday. Hare Krishna. Gaur Premanande. Jai! Jai!
Krishna prapti hai jaoite Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitte Te Koriyo Aikya